Ken, fellow Lions and guests, your mind went blank, but in this group, you're at home. All right. I've missed a few meetings, and I have $5 because I can't think of anything important to say, so that's probably the highlight of the comments that you're going to hear the rest of the day. There we go.
Lion Jim.
President Ken, fellow Lions and guests, $1 in appreciation of Jim's accurate description of himself as being nowhere he is tonight. That's hard to. And then another $1, just good to be here to harass Jim.
Okay, let's go over to Lion Jim again. Jim.
King Lion, fellow Lions, guests, and other people. That's $2. $1 is a happy dollar that last week about this time we were in Grants Pass getting a head start on the smoke. It was nice and smoky there. And the other was happy dollar is kind of a question dollar. This morning's Seattle Times headline was, "Is the air healthy to breathe?" And I'm wondering, if not, what's the option?
Lion Committee session.
President Ken, fellow Lions and guests, I have some happy dollars. Well, one sad dollar, we'll start that off with the stupid infection is back on my finger, so I'm back on that 4th round of antibiotics. The other sad dollar is I've lost weight, which, as you know, I don't want to have happen. But I have happy dollars. Jim and I went on a date night on Saturday night, went down to the casino, and I turned some money into like $500 at the craps table. I kept handing Jim my $25 chips because the gal next to me was like smoking hot on fire with the dice. The other one is I did some serious canning this weekend. I got 19 quarts and 7 pints of green beef then. So bring on the canning.
On date night, you look together?
Lion Jerry.
King Lion, fellow Lions and guests, I'm just happy because I'm here, spite of the smoke.
I didn't smoke. You're here.
And of course, Lion Dave.
Yeah, I got it. Thank you.
There's 2 happy bucks.
President Ken Bocaro, honored fellow Lions and honored guests. And how about that one? It sounded really pretty dignified, didn't it? And all I have to say is I'm a happy camper today. I feel good, and I hope that everybody here feels the same way through the day, and God will continue to work with them, and God bless them, or bless you, and just really hope the best for anybody and everybody out there, and thank you.
Any happy dollars here? Anybody happy? Nobody's happy? Lion House.
President Ken, fellow Lions and guests, you know what my happy dollar is for. President Ken had the wisdom, the intelligence, and for some of you the gall, to make me the song leader last week.
I was nervous.
President Ken, Lions and guests, this is indeed a very sad dollar. For the last 50 years I've had the same hairdresser. And doggone her if she's not going to retire, so I got my last haircut this morning.
Good job, Marilyn.
President Ken, fellow Lions and guests. Say it. Oh, I forgot what I was going to say. Actually, I just have a happy buck. We spent the weekend with our younger son and his wife and his 2 kids and Nora Bell, who's 5-month-old chocolate lab. So the cats
The cats were traumatized, spent most of the weekend hiding in the bedroom. Just before they got ready to go home, one of the cats came out, and Norabelle looks at that cat and says, "Oh, no, what is that?" So it was fun, but I think they would have been friends if they'd stayed just a little longer.
President Ken, fellow Lions and guests, and I know you've all missed me for the last 3 weeks, but I showed up again. Here's a happy buck.
President Ken, fellow Lions and guests, I got a happy dollar. Had a very nice weekend with family up in Port Orchard.
And of course, the Honorable Lion Greg.
President, again, fellow Lions guests, very happy dollar. We put the wagon away on Saturday and it won't go out till next summer. Yes.
And of course, here's our secret shaker today. If everybody could just take hands. For those that you didn't, you go up the corner. Lion didn't have to hire.
Secret shaker.
President Ken.
That's me.
Is that you?
That's me.
I wasn't sure.
We know.
Okay. I have a rebuttal deal for Mr. Jim over there. The alternative for not breathing, if it wasn't for this, I wouldn't be here. There isn't much alternative.
It is.
Lions Ken, fellow Lions and guests, how have you guys been? Oh, I've been all halfway around the world. I got 10 happy bucks. I got to tell you, it's amazing after seeing and reading the books about the Colosseum, the Vatican, Barcelona, Cannes, France, Italy. Oh, just all of it. 200-mile-an-hour trains, incredible food. What was really, really, really impressive is that no matter where I walked in Rome, I never stepped on a rock that was older than George Moore or Jim Reineke. I've been waiting all week to use that joke. But anyway, lots of fun. Hope y'all got along without me. The humor is back, and maybe the cold will go away, so I'll be a little more hearable.
Recycled airplane here. Gets me every time.
And it really could just be our smoky air.
President Ken, Lions, and yes, I have a couple dollars. I just wanted to say that I did my first Squirrel Fest this weekend on the ice cream and had a good time. Thank you. Lion, Laura Lee, Mike.
Good morning. Good morning, Ken, President, fellow Lions, and esteemed guests. My dollar is to say I'm feeling better, 7 good nights of rest, praise the Lord. And George, you're going to get to buy tickets next week for the sock hop. Woo! And our Pat has done an excellent job in his printing office, printing our tickets up. So next Tuesday starts the sale, and it's September 18th at the Elks. Opens the door at 6. Food, nachos, and tacos, which has been requested by many, and music by the King Brothers. So it'll be a fun, fun night for all of us. And the Lady Elks, God bless their soul, they are going to set up, George, they're going to set up and clean up the food for us. We don't have to do dishes, honey. So, we'll all start digging in your pockets, $10 now. But if you wait, George, till that night, it'll be 15. But I know you want to get your tickets early. 18th of September, September 18th.
President Ken, fellow Lions and guests, give a happy $10. I didn't quite go to Europe, but it felt like Europe. I was went to Nashville for 5 nights with my mom and dad, my wife for my work trip, and then we drove around for, that was 5 nights, and then we drove around the South, all over. And then we ended up going to Austin for another 5 nights. We were gone for 18 nights total. My mom and dad had never been through all that part of the country. It was awesome. It was hot, but it was pretty cool and fun. Drove down the road looking for alligators before, but we did that a lot. Usually I look for deer and elk, but I was looking for alligators. Pretty cool. And then I went tuna fishing with my brothers for 2.5 days. We caught 70 tuna off the coast about a week after we got back, and then I just went to Deer Lake for a week with my whole family and stayed the night in a rental house with all of the smoke all over the lake the whole time. That was fun. It wasn't actually, it was pretty smoky up above Spokane. So anyway, I'm back. Hopefully I don't have lung cancer from breathing that all the whole time. So that's it, I'm back. And thanks.
We missed you there, right, everybody? All right, Bob Jensen, Lion Bob.
President Ken, fellow members, and no guests today. Would the following people please stand up for me? Margie Wixon, Laquita Olson, Kathy Carmody, and Maureen Parsons. These are the 4 ladies that bagged most of the cotton candy. The cotton candy season's over. We bagged 822 for $1,644 in, and that's definitely more than 50% profit. So thank you, ladies.
Lion Ken, fellow Lions, President Ken. Okay, I forgot how to use this thing. President Ken, fellow Lions and guests. I got a couple happy dollars myself. I'll be glad to put in an advertising dollar for Pat Palmer, my good buddy. And another one for my daughter my youngest baby turns 24 this week. And I found out what Christmas in July means. I got a call from her last month, and she said, Dad, I got my own car insurance. Which means that,
Take it where you can get it.
King Lion Ken, fellow Lions and guests. I've got a couple happy dollars for those of you that's been around forever and stuff and watched my family grow up. Jennifer is my youngest daughter, not my 4th kid. At any rate, she blessed us with my 8th friend baby. I don't know, they named it after his dad and brother. It's Owen Christopher Murray.
President Ken, fellow Lions and guests, I guess I have let's start off with the sad dollar. The sad dollar is my daughter Grace, our youngest, our baby, is we take her Thursday down to George Fox University where she starts her new career, new journey in life. And the happy dollar about that is we get to take my daughter Grace, my baby, our youngest daughter, down to George Fox. It is such an emotional roller coaster. She's the kid who is always there. She comes in the evening after all of her gymnastic stuff, and she'll come plop herself down on the couch, and then she'll yak our ears off. And she's always there. It's gonna be really different. I'm proud of her though. She's a great kid.
Let him do that.
Secretary Phil is first.
You have to
You
give
want the
him,
microphone?
then you have to give him the mic. They run out of money at me.
President again, fellow Lions and guests, first of all, I have been deputized by the head table to seek a volunteer to slap Lion Jim Stonier for saying there wasn't anything important to hear today. I'm sitting next to the program provider. I assure you there's something. Okay, thank you.
So how many guys are going to try to slap me today?
Well,
I don't think there are enough guys here to do it all.
Don't say that.
Second happy dollar is this weekend was the 36th consecutive year golf outing with 4 good friends to Portland. This year, because of my condition, I did not lose any golf balls. Go Gooey Ducks. And finally, since Mr. Harvey is in Hawaii.
No, he's in Greece.
He's in Greece.
Excuse me, Greece. And you haven't heard a bad joke for a while. I'm here to help. So a guy at church one day recently, the pastor asked if anybody had anything to be thankful for. And Mrs. Jones got up and said, yes, she was very thankful because her husband, Frank, was in a terrible accident on his bicycle. And it was really bad. And it crushed his scrotum. And she said, but we found a surgeon who used all kinds of just incredibly advanced techniques. And he got it all perfectly fixed. And we're so thankful for that. And the man sitting next to her got up and said to the pastor, would somebody, I'm Frank, I'm the aforementioned Frank, would somebody please let my wife know it was my sternum?
That's worth an extra $1.
Yeah, I don't know if I can follow that. There's my thought. I don't think I can follow that. But I have a couple of happy dollars here. Justice President Ken, fellow Lions and guests, esteemed people who called me out on that. Here's a happy dollar because Justice survived being camp. Thanks for asking, Bob. And here's $1 for being here.
All right. And we're all happy about that.
Yeah, we're all happy about that.
Fellow Lions and guests, a couple of happy dollars. First of all, it's going to be strange to not go to any high school activities this year. Washington State is the greatest school in the country. We have 2 granddaughters, one's going to Boise State and the other's to Oregon State. We're going to miss them both, but their Christmas presents will be less next year. The other happy buck is, I don't know how many of you participated in what took place this summer. We have got the greatest bunch of people in this club. And if you were not at Squirrel Fest this Saturday to find out just how the Pioneer Lions Club right in the city of Longview, you missed something. People were talking about, matter of fact, there's talk about something a little better next year. Anyhow, my personal thanks to each and every one of you that put in the time and the effort to make this a very successful summer. Thank you.
Hey, Ken, don't sweat that school thing. Those restraining orders are only for a year or so.
The invocation by Lion Jim Stonier.
Lord, we thank you for this opportunity to serve this community. We recognize that throughout this community and throughout this country, throughout the world, and all the countries that we serve, there's such a great need. People who are suffering and need our help. And we are thankful for Lions clubs throughout the world who are meeting those needs. Lord, bless this food to nourishment and guide us through the week. Amen.
And our flag salute by Lion Steve Johnston.
To the flag of the United States of America
to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And our song will be led by opera star Lion Phil Olson.
My country is the sweet land of liberty,
of thee I sing.
land where my fathers died, land of thy pilgrims pride, from every mountain side, let freedom ring.
I'd like to ask Zone Chair Marilyn Patterson to come forward while we have the introduction of guest Bob Jessen. We have no guest. We have no guest today. Next week is the very important awards day, so make sure each one of you bring a guest. At this time, I received a very nice note from our Zone Chair Marilyn Patterson. And I think it's very beneficial that you all hear from Marilyn personally about what she wrote in her note.
Short note? Kinda. Oops. President Ken, fellow Lions, I sent this note out because it's important that the Zone Chair thanks the clubs for honoring her or them. So I sent a note. It is an honor to serve you as G1 Zone Chair for the year 2018-19. Thank you for the great support for welcoming me and my official visit August 7th. What a wonderful reception you gave the District Governor Mark's visitation August 14th. Thank you for making him and Debbie feel so special. To Lions in Service, Zone Chair Marilyn.
Thank you. I think it's a little more meaningful to come directly from her heart instead of ours. With that, moving right along, Sunshine Report. Cindy Sessions and Ron Stockman. Cindy first, ladies first. Ron.
Thank you, President Ken. Fellow Lions and no guests. I talked to Russ Case last night. He is home recovering after surgery. He had 3 discs that were bulging. He's welcoming phone calls but no visitors. He's not up to seeing anybody yet. Also, keep Mark Kelch and his family in your thoughts and prayers as his daughter-in-law is fighting her battle with cancer. And we'll turn over to Ron.
President Ken, fellow Lions guests, a progress report on Bill Pontius. He's starting to work this antidepressant out of his system. He's starting to get better. He's still at his son's house in Tacoma for at least another week, so he's doing better.
Okay, with that, I would just like to read a letter we got from Mark Kelch this morning. Many of you have been following his daughter-in-law's journey through her cancer treatments. Some of you have been following Beth's journey on Caring Bridge. For those who haven't, Beth came home a week ago Friday and seemed to be making progress all last week during the second batch of chemo. The past few days haven't been good. They're trying to balance the pain meds between keeping her comfortable versus coherent. Since it's an incredible cancer, untreatable cancer, they're leaning more towards pain management. Unfortunately, the massive doses are taking a toll on her body, and the doctors have warned that she could stop breathing at any time. We're hoping and praying that the chemo will start blocking the tumors down to give her more relief, at least for a while. Keep Beth and all the family really in your prayers. It's a heartbreaking situation they're going through, especially with 3 beautiful children. Thank you. Committee reports. Cindy Pickett, you want to be first?
There's a sign-up sheet going around for the picnic, which is September 9th. I've been crazy.
Are you sure?
Yeah, this time I am. It's Sunday at 2 o'clock at the Harvey's. Here's a sign-up sheet to let us know if you're attending and what you're bringing. So that's here, going probably that way. This way. You guys got this yet? Okay, going this way, so we'll come out that way. 2, we have a visitation this Thursday. We're going down to Salmon Creek at the pizza parlor there, Round Table Pizza. That's where Salmon Creek Lions have their meeting this. And so we'll meet back here at 5 o'clock, back of the Longview Eagle here, at 5 o'clock and carpool down there. So that'll be this Thursday, 5 o'clock, carpool in the back of Salmon Creek. Salmon Creek is just before Hazelnut. You would take exit 134. You've been there before, Steve, the Round Table Pizza.
Are you gonna meet someplace
I
special?
told them and talked to them this morning, and that's where she said they were meeting.
You gonna meet someplace special with carpool?
In back of this building. Thursday at 5 o'clock. Yeah. And I'm wearing my USA Canada Lions shirt. I see Pat's got his and Louis got his on. That's coming up in September. If you can't make it in Cincinnati, Ohio this year, start planning for next year because it's in Spokane, Washington. Nice. And
Taste of Italy.
Taste of Italy. I have cards out here, save the date. It has a corrected date on it. It is Saturday, April 13th at St. Rose. So be sure and tell everybody about it. I'll have plenty of these cards back here. So just take what you need for your companies and friends so they can save the date for that day. I think I'm done.
Steve Patterson, you have a report or request.
President Ken, Lions and guests, if you are a red badge lion, please raise your hand. If you are ready to get rid of that requirement of orientation so you can get your blue badge, we're having orientation. Here's to save the date. Next Wednesday, August 29th at 6 o'clock at the shop. We'll be doing orientation. That's Wednesday, 29th, August, 6 p.m. Thank you.
6 p.m.
Tom, you have a report for concessions?
President Ken, fellow Lions and guests, I just want to thank everybody for all their hard work this year with the wagon. We had a very successful year, and it was all because of all you people that helped. So we have one more little project Thursday after the board meeting to finish cleaning up the wagon and get it put away for the year. Somebody said that they'd rather wait till next year. No. Because it could be the same people that have to pull it out next year. We want to clean now. So Thursday morning at 8 o'clock at the shop. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
And we've already had a report from the sock hop. You need more time than the half hour you had before?
Not quite a half hour, Mr. President. I just want to remind you guys, we accept baskets to be raffled off, and Michelle, or one of our new members and husband, are going to chair it. And so contact them. Let's have a lot of baskets so we can make money for our club. We'll have a raffle tickets available at the party, 50-50 tickets at the party, and costumes are welcome up to 50s. So get your poodle skirts out, girls. Maybe even a dance contest, who knows? And a door prize.
And she'll win. She always wins.
Whatever you guys wish to wear.
Okay, I've got a couple of quick announcements. The Kelso Lions Club is holding a mega garage sale on Friday and Saturday, August 24th and 25th. It's going to be at 210 Oak Street in downtown Kelso. The proceeds from this May garage sale will benefit all the local youth activities such as the scholarships, school, and holiday baskets that are provided by the Kelso Lions Club. Make sure you take a little bit of time to attend that. Also, this coming Thursday, 7 a.m., Bob Falls Restaurant, Board of Directors meeting. We would like all boards of directors, and with the exception of the first vice president, who'll be at college, to be there for the meeting. If you have anything you want on the agenda, please let me know in the next day or two. Marilyn?
When you're done, I have an announcement for education.
You do have an announcement. I asked you, you said no. Marilyn, give her the microphone.
Sorry, I forgot. President Ken, fellow Lions and guests, I would like to have just a short or brief, whatever you want to call that, meeting, maybe back over here for the Education Committee, and anyone that participated in the reading the reading program that we did at Columbia Heights Elementary. I would love your input, so if you could meet with me as well, that would be great.
That's going to be right over here. Any other announcements from the floor? Cindy?
An add-on for the visitations. I'm trying to get us to go to 2 visitations a month. Next month I'll be leaving like 2 weeks early out of September, so we'll have 2 visitations the first part of September, and I'll get those out next week. So just let you know.
With that, it's my honor to introduce Gina Ramey, who is in charge of our guest speaker this week. Gina.
You guys are relentless.
What's her name here is going to be introducing our guest speaker.
Oh, what's her name? Okay, fellow Lions and guests, and the president, what's your name? Just check. Our guest speaker today is a 4th-generation Longview resident who has deep roots in our community, going back to her great-grandparents. She attended Mark Morris High School and Lower Columbia College. She's been married to Dan, a 4th-generation Kalama native, since 1981. They enjoy the great outdoors here in the Pacific Northwest, but they've been known to travel to tropical places as well. Her first job at 15 was in the catalog department at Montgomery Ward. So I'm sure a lot of you can remember the catalog department. Oh,
I do.
confused,
I remember it.
confused looks, maybe not. Her first volunteer role was junior auxiliary nurse at St. John's Medical Center. Her first fundraising effort was selling painted rocks and giving the money to her church. You remember pet rocks, right? Now they have a different meaning, but we'll go with that. She also worked in banking for 20 years. Her last position was with Callis Bank, now Heritage Bank, as a director of marketing and administrative officer. She joined Community Health and Hospice 10 years ago, continuing her education to achieve a certified fundraising executive credential. A little known fact is that there are only 6,000 of those in the world. She is a Kelso Rotary president-elect. She has served on the Kelso Longview Chamber of Commerce Board for 8 years and is a past president there. She is a mini long-haired dachshund named Buster, and who visits her patients with her, and then helps raise money for the Rotary. He's always dressed appropriately. I don't really know what that means. I hope she touches on that. Currently, she is the development director at Community Health and Hospice. She's overseeing fundraising, outreach activities. Please give a warm Lions welcome to Julie Rinard. Not to be confused with Rinard, because like all of you, she's a beautiful, community-minded individual who would be an awesome Lion.
Thank you, that was fun. Buster does like going to community events, so that's what my Facebook is usually about. I loved Squirrel Fest. He thought it was Squirrel Feast. Okay, there you go. So thank you, Gina. Thank you, President Ken. I probably did that in the wrong order. I'm sorry. And Kurt, who invited me, asked me to talk about the history of community home health and hospice, which I think is fascinating, and I don't want to bore you, so I would be checking to see if you're sleeping, but also about our Longview Hospice Care Center, some of the things we're doing, particularly for those who require charity care. And I just have a question for the crowd. Do you remember where you were, what you were doing in 1977? I see a hand. Yes, Pat. What were you doing in 77?
Graduating high school, going to Western Washington University.
Wonderful. And I see a hand over here. Yes.
I was told I was in the 4th year of working at Goodwill.
4th year working at Goodwill. All right. Yeah. Jim.
Living in Japan.
Living in Japan. Okay. Yes. You moved here. All right. Cindy. In high school. Me too. Yeah. Mark Morris. Yes. Yes. Oh, well, I'm sorry. That's okay. That's all right. Okay.
Marilyn. There's Marilyn.
Marilyn, yes. Well, congratulations. You have a 41-year-old. That's great. Okay. Well, in 1977, a public health nurse, Lorraine Barrett, who lived in Castle Rock, saw a need for home health. And she believed that she could meet that need by establishing her own nonprofit organization, and that's what she did. Local independent healthcare agency right here in Longview, got its roots 41 years ago, and we remain local independent nonprofit. We are a little bit larger, but her vision was amazing. She contributed her own $10,000 to get this started. She traveled to Europe to find out how it was done elsewhere, and she engaged volunteers to do everything, including the medical director, all volunteering, all otherwise typically occupied with their own jobs, their own activities. She brought the community together, and that's what we intend to do now as well, all these years later. She established home health. We're kind of well known for hospice, but it didn't start out with hospice. It started out with home health. And the need that she felt could be met was taking care of people who were living at home, who were struggling to get to medical appointments, struggling between medical appointments, needed more attention from the medical field than they could get. And from there, she established the hospice program a year later. She overcame many roadblocks. It was one of the first hospice organizations in our country, the 23rd in our country, the first in Washington State, and many believed that hospice ended life sooner, or that represented giving up. And she had a hard road to travel. She did go to Europe and studied and learned what was done that was successful, and sold her cause and did it very well, and expanded the agency into Wahkiakum County, also Columbia County. So we're taking care of people who live in very remote areas. It's extremely difficult to get health care, and she had health care going to their homes. She was also invited to work with the state of Washington to actually write regulations for hospice facilities. She was part of that. And she's still living in Castle Rock, and I talk to her occasionally, and I ask her how she feels about what we're doing now. She's glad she's retired, and she gives us all kinds of support. So it's an honor to even bring up her name. Lorraine Barrett was our founder. In 1984, we opened the Longview Hospice Care Center, 4 patient rooms, and it still exists. We've added on a few times, but on 11th Avenue, you'll see our original 4 rooms. And each has a door to outside. It's kind of quaint and nostalgic, and a lot of memories there. We've helped a lot of families, thousands and thousands of families. We were the first in the state to open a care center. Prior to that, I'm not quite sure where people went for hospice care other than possibly a wing in a hospital, but it was specialized care that was new to the United States. Funded by donations, built by volunteers who were working with local labor unions. So that facility, the original facility with 4 patient rooms, was actually built by union workers unpaid. And also a loan from Fiber Federal Credit Union, which supports us now through volunteering and major cash gifts. So we're very, very grateful. Love our history. I love sharing it with you. In 1986, we received a grant from the Healthcare Foundation, which is based in Longview, for $27,000 to help us with our mission. A lot of money then, a lot of money now. Back in 1986, the biggest grant we'd ever received at that point. A couple of years later, we expanded into Clark County, and that's as far as we go. We cover 4 counties. In 97, we added on to our care center. It's now 12 patient rooms. But most of the people we take care of are in their homes. That's adequate for now. And we'll be going into a feasibility study over the next few years to determine if we need to replace and expand it, do something different. But we want the community to weigh in on that. No plans right now. So where we are right now, far beyond where we were 41 years ago, still live in the same mission. We have home care, which is non-medical. That would be for folks who need help with their activities of daily living, like cooking, cleaning, running errands, helping from bed to bathroom, that sort of thing. It's non-medical. We also have home health, which is a common situation where people might be discharged from a hospital following a surgery, or they have a chronic condition, and we are actually providing CNAs, nursing, therapists, social workers, many different services to bring home health home and get people back on the road to their usual activities, thriving again. Then with our hospice program, we offer hospice in-home and also at home in other facilities, such as maybe a skilled nursing facility, adult family home, wherever people live, we offer these services. So the care center, and we have 2 now, are set up to take care of patients on a shorter term who cannot be cared for at home, who require intense care 24 hours a day. And following that, we take care of families as well. We help families with transition, with all these issues that are so impactful on many generations. We provide free grief support for everyone in the community, not just hospice families. Taking care of people who have survived suicide, tragic accidents, drug overdoses. All these things are happening in our community. It's very serious, and we take care of those who are grieving from those types of losses. We're talking about expanding, and we already have expanded in some ways with offering special groups just for men, young widows, children, middle school age, teenagers, young adults. When we see a need, we try to fill that need with a special group if we can, so that those who come to us for the grief support are around folks who may have experienced something similar, although it is very unique and individual. We're often asked, can you make a group that's just for men or just for women in a certain age group? And oftentimes we're able to do that. And it's always free. Another part of our hospice program is Pet Peace of Mind, which is near and dear to some of our hearts, those who really love animals. And it goes beyond cats and dogs, horses, snakes, fish, whatever. But when our patients are on hospice care at home and they have a pet and they're distraught because they cannot take care of their pet any longer, we go in to help with that, and we take care of their pet so they're not separated. So through the very end of their life, they're together with their pet. And that could mean that we're dropping food in a fish tank. It doesn't matter. Whatever we're doing, it's keeping the pet together with their person, with their family. And we have volunteers who take care of horses. We have people who will take the pets to the vet and get their vaccinations and groom them and feed them and walk them. And I love this program because that's free as well, but it gives some peace of mind also to the family, because they may be in a dilemma. What are we going to do about this dog or whatever the pet needs? How can we do this? Our hands are full. So that's a way that you can help if you just know that we do that. It's not well known, and we'd love to help. We also are a member of a program, We Honor Veterans, where our nursing team receives specialized training to take care of veterans at the end of life. And I'm not sure if you've heard this statistic before, but 1 in 4 dying Americans is a veteran. We are losing our veterans, and it's heartbreaking, but we are doing what we can, and we are experiencing the training that we need to listen, respect, honor our veterans, and for what they've given to our country. And I shouldn't say they, I'm sure many of you are veterans. And it's very important to us that we can do this. We have 300 employees at this point. I was going to ask a question if anyone knew how many employees we have, but I asked that 3 years ago, and I think Ron would catch me. I'm not supposed to repeat anything that I said 3 years ago. All right, so another big part of what we do is volunteer recruitment, and we have an actual regulation that requires us, as a hospice is the only entity that receives federal money. We are actually required to provide 5% of our patient care by volunteers. And sometimes we struggle with that. It's not an easy job to take care of a patient. And we are very, very fortunate that we have today 159 volunteers. Not all are with the hospice program. Some work with me in fundraising or in outreach and many other jobs, but volunteers are key to what we do. And they were key from the very first day. So maybe some of you who like numbers would be interested to know that last fiscal year, volunteer number of hours was, anyone want to take a guess? How many thousand? Oh my goodness, I wish. 10,928 to be exact. Yes. So, we're thrilled with that. And if we were to pay all those volunteers, I mean, we actually did this, it's required that we report this, but if we paid all those volunteers for their talents, it would have been $241,000. Yeah, it's huge, yes. So let's talk for a minute about the Longview Hospice Care Center. I mentioned many years ago we received a grant from the Healthcare Foundation. This year we received another grant. This one's a little different, it's a challenge grant. And the challenge grant is $50,000. We must raise $50,000 first, and they will match it. It's specifically for charity care in the Longview Hospice Care Center, which is a huge need for us because we don't want to turn people away. And we take care of patients who have no resources at all. For example, the Veterans Administration does not pay for inpatient care for hospice for veterans. They take care of home hospice, but not inpatient care. And I actually have a petition that we're circulating to change that. And we would love for Congress to authorize the VA to contract with all of the hospice care centers across the country so that we can have a financial arrangement and not say no to veterans. So I'm on my soapbox on that one, as well as thousands of other people. We started this petition a while back, and I don't even know how many signatures we have right now, but it's incredible, the groundswell of support, and that's what we need. In the meantime, we're saying yes to every veteran that we can, every person that we can who needs care in the Longview Care Center, and also in our Vancouver Care Center. So an example of someone who might require charity care would be a child who's battled with cancer, and the family has used up all the resources fighting the cancer, and now they're out of resources, and the child is dying. We do not want to say no to the child. We do not want to say no to anyone, but some of you might be surprised to know that we take care of people in hospice at all ages. And we take care of people who are homeless, no insurance. They haven't applied for Medicaid, they may qualify, but now their life is ending and there isn't time for paperwork. these are the people we want to help. We need to help them. They deserve it. So that's what the grant is for. And we received about $12,000 toward the grant already, matching, so it's awesome. And we're looking forward to seeing that rise to 50 so that we can get the full benefit of $100,000. It's transformational. And what happens in the care center is very specialized per patient, but it costs about, time to wrap up, got it, thank you, about $800 or $900 a day, so it's just a fraction of what it would be in a hospital. So the ways that you can help, first of all, I'd like to recognize veterans in the room. So if you're a veteran, I want to thank you. If you just raise your hand. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for your service. Appreciate it. So what we're looking for, and Kurt, who isn't here, told me I could do this. In fact, he asked me to do this. And Gina told me to pass the petition around. So there's the petition. And Kurt told me to ask for support, so there are donation envelopes. But certainly do what you feel like doing if you wish. And the concept here is, if you're interested in supporting this grant opportunity for charity care in the Longview Hospice Care Center, contributions in those envelopes will be used that way, if that's what you like to do. I've got materials on every topic I mentioned laying on the table here, the table that has the bucket of money on it, right there. And the other piece would be, if you're interested in volunteering with us, there are many different opportunities throughout the agency, so I'd love to talk to you about that as well. And do we have time for, we do have time for questions? President Ken says we have time for questions, so ask easy questions. We're almost out of time, right? Okay, I'm ready. I see a hand. Yes, Pat. Thank you for that. I can tell you average per day is 600, and the last fiscal year, I've got it on a form over here, but about 600 a day. Yeah, across 4 counties. Yeah. Another question? Ron, do you have any questions? Usually have tough questions.
What's 600 per day per year?
It's calculated over there on that piece of paper. Anything else? It's hard to comprehend. We take care of one at a time, you know? Yeah. There's one behind me. Gina.
What's your name?
What's your name? All right, it's yours. I'll stay around for a couple minutes.
Thank you, Julie.
Thank you.
This is a check for my family. Thank you. And wait, don't run off. Here is a gift from the Lions Club. This is a mug to share your favorite beverage. And this is an application in case you want to drop Rotary.
I can use this mug at Rotary. Thank you.
Julie, thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you.
Julie and I have done several things together. Really an outstanding lady in her services that she does. And we've had a personal experience with the hospice organization, not only at hospice, but also in our home over the years. It's really a terrific program. So if you have in your heart, there's a lot of things if you haven't been over to see the garden, the garden is spectacular. You can sit there and meditate and think about what's happening on the inside of the building and in your lives. Really a beautiful place to go and just be in the quiet. And it's surprising in the middle of Longview how you can find something quiet, but it's great.
It's gorgeous.
With that, we would like to thank our guest speaker. Remind everybody, board meeting this coming Thursday, 7 a.m. Bob Paul's Restaurant. The Kelso garage sale coming up. Visitations, get in touch with past President Cindy Pickett. Make all the arrangements. We really need to promote Pioneer Lions Club going to these events. It's really something special. When George was doing it several years ago, I think we were the top in MD-19 for visitations. Let's get back up there where we belong. With that, don't forget the sock hop. The dinner tickets first. Food comes first. We're waiting for you. The white ticket. White ticket. 3-9. How many are still in it? 6-6. 5-4. How many's left in it? 8.
I got 43.
Shirley, they're over here on the side. Shirley, congratulations. Hope you get it. Our red ticket, 05, 45, 53.
Yeah, I got that.
Phil Olson, Phil, where you want to go?
Diabetes.
Diabetes. Alrighty, thank you. Is there anything to bring before the club on the floor?
Senility?
If not, don't forget Maryland's meeting over here in the corner. Oh, senility. Philip.
President Ken, fellow Lions and guests, it's a sad day. Lion Darla Portray came to club to suck money out of us and then
Darla.
I asked President Jim Stonier hasn't learned about signing in.
Jim Stonier didn't sign in, but he signed in but in the wrong spot.
And finally, I don't know who this guy's sponsor is. I think we should find the sponsor. Charlie Gord forgot to sign in.
Who's his sponsor? Phil? Phil, that'd be an extra buck for passing the buck. Anything else? If not, meeting's adjourned. Thank you.